Alright, y'all, welcome back to the Full Court Press. It is that time of the year where Adam Silver and the rest of the NBA board is considering adding teams for the league to expand, and I got some thoughts on it. Should they do it? Should they not do it? Will it benefit the league? Will it not benefit the league? Do they have enough players for it? We can all get into that right now. Firstly, I think that it would not really benefit nor it would harm the league. And the reason I think that is because a lot of people say there's so much talent in the league, there needs to be an expansion, right? Obviously, the times that come to mind are recently when Isaiah Thomas um, and guys like Jamal Crawford, so like old guys basically, and then you have younger guys like Mac McClung, and then even there's so much talent, old, young. They can't find a team, they can't find a roster spot because they all just get full so fast. And then you have the talent in the G League. So this prompts a lot of people to say, like, do we have the ability and the opportunity to open up expansion teams so that these players can play, so that new cities can have basketball fandom. The two biggest cities are probably Las Vegas and Seattle, and those are the two most discussed ones. Obviously, the Seattle Supersonics were huge, and Seattle is mainly discussed as an NBA city because of their experience being an NBA city. But there's a lot of cities you could throw up there. There's Vancouver people want to bring back. There's a lot of cities in the United States. If you did, there's a lot to get behind if you want this perspective of NBA cities and growing NBA cities. But the problem is that the talent that would enter these teams would not be sufficient. As a Blazer fan, I think back to when the Blazers started. They were able to get a championship relatively quick. They sucked for a little while, but then they got Bill Walton, and then he obviously led them to a championship in '77, right? So they were founded in '70, got a championship in '77, haven't touched much else since besides the conference finals and maybe the finals once, I think. So, I mean, it's not a complete death sentence to introduce your team as an expansion franchise as opposed to having your team be from a different city relocated like OKC did with the Thunder coming from the Supersonics. However, there's just like I said, there's not enough talent in the league to satisfy those two expansion teams. So I don't think it's worth it. You already have so many games. I feel like adding these two expansion teams would just harm the reputation and the competitiveness of the league, in the fact that there's already 82 games, and so all these players are getting injured. We've had three major Achilles injuries just in this playoffs with Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, and then Tyrese Halliburton in the finals, which were all devastating and all affected the playoffs very, very much, and obviously led to outcomes that some people wouldn't have expected. Obviously, the Pacers making it as far as they did, and then the Pacers upsetting the Celtics when they did, and then the Celtics almost reaching the finals, and they were 2 quarters away. And then so these types of things, it makes you think, like, would an expansion help this? And the answer to me is no. The answer is because that when you have more expansion teams, you're going to want to justify those more games, because obviously there's more teams. There needs to be more opportunities to play all of these different teams. Obviously, if you go from 30 to 32 teams, that's only two teams that you see, but then all of those 30 teams are now going to have to face an additional two teams, and then those two teams are going to have to face the rest of the 31 teams, correct? So it's just going to add on to the mess of the game situation that we have on right now. And then there's not enough talent. And you look at the difference between the G League talent that is kind of sitting on reserve and the team, all the teams that are there currently. Obviously, these expansion teams would go through an expansion draft and things like that, so they'd have a little bit of talent. However, they'd still be kind of stuck there for a little bit, at least. And so I think that the cost of expansion, just right now, they do not justify expansion as much as we want the Seattle Supersonics. For all I care, send the Thunder back to the Supersonics. They already got their ring. They can retire. I'm not a Thunder fan, but I'm pretty sure all those Thunder fans can agree with me. There's not much else to say on this topic. expansion teams are a no for me. What do you think? You can, I don't know, leave a comment if you want. I don't care. It's been real. I'm going to sleep.